Resume. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this highly anticipated webinar, The Art of Winning at Interviews. Whether you're a seasoned professional looking to refine your skills or someone preparing for their first big interview, today's session is packed with insights and strategies that will help you stand out and definitely succeed. Now, it's my greatest pleasure to introduce the master trainer for this session, Prof. Mahmoud Ayub. Mr. Mahmoud, or Prof. Mahmoud as everyone calls him, is a former Middle East regional sales and marketing training manager of the British pharmaceutical giant GlaxoSmithKline, also known as GSK. Everyone knows it. Prof. Mahmoud is a graduate of the American University of Beirut with a bachelor in science and degree in marketing management. He is also a certified NLP practitioner graduate of Helford, UK. Prof. Mahmoud spent the last 25 years of his career working for the American and British multinational pharmaceutical giants like Pfizer, Merck Sharp and Dohme, MSD, and GlaxoSmithKline GSK as a top three in the world, where he grew from territory sales representative to sales team supervisor, and then to national first line manager, then to regional sales and marketing training manager covering 13 Middle Eastern countries, where he was responsible for leading the regional learning and development of 1,000 of employees from the newly recruited juniors levels to the top leadership C-suite. C-suite level as in CEO, CFO, COO, and etc. Prof. Mahmoud is a senior consultant and a senior mentor at the prestigious Darwin Center for Innovation Management and Entrepreneurship at the Olayan School of Business, the American University of Beirut. He is also a distinguished lecturer at the Lebanese American University in the Continuous Education Program / Executive Education Division. Prof is a, is a received Prof received multiple awards, including the Excellent in Teaching Award, the Best New Pharmaceutical Product Launch Award, the Outstanding Performance G&E Vice President Award, the Global Employee Recognition HR Award, in addition to the Global Employee Recognition Great Contribution HR Award. Wow. Today, Prof. Mahmoud is a guru of sales excellence and leadership, a master training or marketing, negotiation, and communication, a motivator, an influential public speaker, and a master coach who had delivered 1,000 of training workshops to many organizations throughout the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and Europe in cities like London, Cairo, Bangkok, Kuala Lumpur, Guyana, Beirut, Damascus, Aleppo, Amman, Aqaba, Baghdad, Erbil, Sulaimania, Kuwait, Sharjah, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Tehran, Istanbul, and etc., mainly covering the whole region. Prof. Mahmoud has been a member of the American Board of NLP since 2008. Guys, from this introduction, you know it will be a massive training today, a massive session. This session will be interactive, so feel free to ask questions in the chat or through the Q&A feature. We'll also have a dedicated Q&A segment at the end of the webinar where Prof will address all your inquiries. Please make them short and simple because of the time. Without further ado, let's dive in. Please join me in welcoming our master trainer, Prof. Mahmoud Ayub. Prof, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you for the introduction. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Art of Winning at Interviews training session. This session will take around 30 minutes, after which we will open the floor for your questions in case you have any questions. I'm very happy to be tonight with you, and let's start. I will start with something that happened 14 years ago. It was the year 2010 when I was given the responsibility to create a team, a promotional team in my company consisting of 5 medical representatives and 1 manager. At that time, we bought new products from another company called Bristol Myers Squibb, BMS, and we were forming a team to promote these products. So I had like a month to create that team, and it was like a roadmap. I received 330 CVs for the vacancies that were at play. From those 330s, I qualified. Of course, I went through every CV and qualified 140 CVs. We call them the screening phase, that were qualified for interviews. Those 140, we have interviewed them face to face over a period of 7 days, all day, in order to qualify from the 140 another 22. The second wave of interviews took the number from 22 candidates to 8, and another wave of interviews took the number to 6, which was the final team we wanted to create. That happened over a period of 1 month. Now, what does this show us? This definitely shows us that interviewing is a very challenging, very competitive endeavor that recruiters have to go through, and recruitees, or people who are applying for the jobs, have to go through. If we do simple math, yani we just divide the 6 out of the 330, we will discover that it's around 2%. So out of every 100 candidates who applied, only 2 were able to succeed in being hired. So this by itself talks lots about how challenging, how demanding, how important interviewing is really is. Not only this, what can we also learn from this roadmap is that interviewing is not only the face-to-face discussions or interactions that you make with the recruiters. Interviewing essentially starts with your CV, with how you design your CV, how you put it together, because your CV is a representative of you. It talks to the recruiter even before seeing you, even before you going into his office. So we will start with some tips and some advice on how to design a CV or a resume that will talk about you, important information that are able to leave an impression on the recruiter. So on average, how long does a recruiter spend reading your CV? Definitely one would say, ideally, it would be around 5 to 10 minutes, but practically, it's not even near this. Why? Because if we take this example, we said before about 330 CVs. If you want to spend 5 to 10 minutes on every CV to read it, I would need total 10 working days, yani almost 2 weeks of my entire work, not doing anything else, just to read the CVs. Is this possible? This is almost impossible, because any recruiter, be it a general manager, is a business unit manager, a sales manager, or like in my case, a regional training manager, cannot afford to put 10 days reading CVs. This is practically impossible, especially that we do the recruitment over the whole year, all the time. So how can, then we won't be doing anything else. So it's not practical. So what does research show us as to, on average, how much does a recruiter put in time in order to read your CV? And according to research, and this is across industries, not only the pharma, it's the pharma, it's the medical devices, it's everything, everywhere. He puts 7, not 7 minutes, 7 seconds to read your CV. As much as this number seems shocking, it is very, very real. And I'm talking about from experience. I've interviewed thousands of people, and I can tell you that's probably the average we spend reading the CV. But how can a recruiter read a 1-page CV in 7 seconds? It's almost impossible. How can you read it in 7 seconds? In fact, we don't read it, we scan it. And what do I mean by scanning? Not scanning using a program or using a machine. No, we being the scanner, we who is having the CV in his hand, is actually scanning your CV, is not reading your CV. And what does research show? So how is this scanning done? So you would understand what's happening behind walls, like they say. So we need to study the recruiters. How do they scan? And to do this, we have devised, there has been so many research that are targeted to study recruiters on how they scan CVs. And to help them with this, they use what we call an eye tracking glass. Yani you put on the eyes of the recruiter this device you see on the screen. It has a camera that sees what the recruiter see, and a camera that reads your pupils, how your pupils are moving. And by synchronization and standardization, what you do, you are able to see where the recruiter is looking every moment of him scanning the CV. So as he's looking at the CV, the software of the computer that's linked to this device will tell where the recruiter is looking, not only where he's looking, how much time he's spending looking. So this would be the study that's been done on thousands of recruiters for thousands, tens of thousands of CVs. What were the results? If you take a one-page CV like this one, the question posed was the following. Does the recruiter look at it in a uniform way? Yani, does he spend those 7 seconds across the whole CV uniformly? Or does he have some focus points where he focuses his eyes on his scanning? And to tell you what were the results, I want you to mentally think of your CV, a one-page CV of yours, where you take the front page of your resume, that's the page of your CV, you fold it, you fold the top edge down to the right edge, then you unfold it. The triangle that you see at the screen is called the golden triangle. We call it also in HR the golden zone. What does research shows is that the recruiter spends 90% of his time on the golden zone, on the golden triangle, 10% on the remaining of the document. That's what results have shown. That's why we call it the golden zone, because that is the zone where the majority of the attention of the recruiter is directed, is focused. How is this? We'll see later that this is very important for you when you start designing your own CV. If we want to be more specific as to is there a pattern with which those recruiters scan the CV, more specific, yani within this triangle, is there a pattern where there is much more focusing and attention given? And research also has shown using the eye tracking device with the software and computer, and no, yes. You look at this CV. This CV, what you see is what we call a heat map. What is this heat map? This map is the software of the computer that's linked to the eye tracking device, color where the recruiter is looking. So if the color is red hot, it means that's the most attention that's given by the recruiter on that specific spot of the CV. If it's orange, it's less than red. If it's yellow, it's even less attention, less focus. If it's green, yani almost it's like a glance, yani probably a fraction of a second. And as for the white page, that's where the recruiter never looks. Zero attention, zero focus. The green is very low focus, very low attention. The red is the top attention, top focus of the recruiter. This heat map has shown, as it's repeated over hundreds of recruiters, thousands of CVs, that it follows a pattern. And also this pattern, as I said before, is not limited to a certain industry. It is across all industries. Everyone who's recruiting, even recruiting agencies, follow this pattern. What is this pattern? This pattern is the letter F, the English letter F. We have discovered that recruiters scan the CV where they put 90% of their focus and attention on the spots that lie on the F, on a big F of the CV page. Of course, this is consistent with the yellow triangle or the golden triangle we've seen before, but this is more specific. So within that golden triangle area, the highest focus is following the F letter, pattern. Okay, So every time you see CV, put in your mind, I have a mental F where the recruiter will be looking. Why is this important? We will see. This will tell you where to put the most important information about you. It has to follow the pattern. You don't put it in a place where you know, as after finishing this training, that he won't look. You will put it where you know he will look. He will give the maximum attention, because at the end of the day, you only have 7 seconds. He scans it, you're in or you're out. What about the percentage time fixation per section? Does the recruiter give every section the same amount? Does he uniformly scan the CV, or does he have a preferred section, a section that draws more of his attention? And according to the same research, using this tracking device and the software and the software used, we have discovered that 46% of his time, and that's 7 seconds in total, yani almost 3.5 seconds, are given to your experience, the part of experience. Another 26% is given to competencies, 18% is given to your education, and 10% is given to others. Others meaning where you put hobbies and extracurricular activities and languages and personal information. That's only 10%. So the bulk of his time while scanning your CV will be directed towards experience and competencies. And this should somehow affect how you will design your CV for the future, taking into consideration all the research we've seen so far. So what could be some advices and some tips to be given to you in the design of your CV? Remember, your CV is the first step of the interview. It's not your face-to-face first interview. Your interview has started with your CV. This is extremely important. You have to put a lot of effort in designing it, following this advice and tips. First, remember the golden triangle. Do the trick on your CV. Design a CV, print it, do the folding, and then mark the triangle and know that 90% of his attention will be in the golden triangle. 2, within the golden triangle, draw a big F to follow the pattern. This will give you exactly where 90% of his attention, 90% of his focus will be. So you put the keywords, the key competencies, what really differentiate you from all the other people who are applying to the job. 3, you have to make your most relevant experience and skills prominent, because we know that per section, this is what he's interested in. He's interested in your experience, number 1, then your skills, your competencies. Then mirror your experience and skills to the job posting. And this means you don't have to have one version of a CV where you send it to everybody. That's not a good strategy to follow. You should have 2, 3, 4 versions of your CV where you highlight different skills, different experience, different competencies as per the job posting, as per what they are looking for, so that you would be differentiating yourself from everybody else. 5, you concentrate on your achievements, not your responsibilities. Because if you just focus too much on your so I was responsible for this. Okay, what does it tell me? What if you were responsible, but you were not doing a good job? So what? Who cares? So I care about your achievements, not your responsibilities. 6, quantify your experience, because numbers speak louder than words. Don't just mention them. Tell me what were really the experience. Yani how many things you were responsible for, how many employees, how many tasks exactly, how these tasks are shown. 7, use action verbs. This is very important. And check thoroughly for correct spelling and grammar. And you will be somehow surprised to know that 31 to 45% of CVs have spelling and grammar mistakes. If it's 1 or 2, that's fine. The recruiter will not put too much importance, will not give too much importance to this. But if you have like 7, 8 spelling and grammar mistakes, this would somehow affect my judgment on how competent you are. So please pay attention to this, even if it's a minor, but it is somehow, at the end of the day, you are differentiating yourself against 330 other applicants. You want to be the best in everything. 9, you print your CV before sending it. Why is this important? Because when the recruiter receives your CV, he will print it. So you don't want to see how it will look on the screen on your computer. You want it to see how it will look on paper in front of the recruiter. That's why you need to print your CV before sending it to see if it is okay. Does it match the golden triangle? Does it respect the F patterns? Am I highlighting the relevant experience and skills? All of this are very, very, very important. Then print it black and white if it contains color. Why? Because many of the recruiters will not print it in color. Even if you send it in color to us, we'll print it in black and white. And sometimes in black and white, it looks different from in color. So print it in black and white and check it. Are you satisfied with how it looks? Does it really speak about you? Does it represent you the best way? If yes, send it. If no, change it. So now we hope by designing the right resume and CV, you've made the first step. So now you are one of the 140 who are going to start the face-to-face waves of interviews. Okay. Now you are going to the first interview. Your CV talked very good about you. They have picked you. They have assigned you a date, and you're going to the office. What do you need to do? You need to prepare. Why is preparation important? Why is it very important? Because that's what will make you different. What do you do in the preparation? You always research position, company, and industry. It's don't go when you don't to an interview, face-to-face interview, not knowing what are the current situation of the industry you are applying to. What does the company stand for? What's the mission, its vision? What are the behaviors I give high ranks I respect? What's your position effectively mean? What are the responsibilities? You don't go without knowing these, because this will show in an interview with a very professional recruiter. Know yourself to be able to articulate skills, strengths, accomplishment, and career goals. And you have to ask yourself, what am I bringing to this job? What am I bringing to this company? What skills, what strengths? This will prepare you as in terms of a mindset as you go to do that interview. Prepare necessary materials, copies of resume, reference, portfolio. Show them that you're prepared. You're always prepared. It's very important. And ask for directions and where to park. And very, very important, rehearse answering common questions. And I don't mean by common questions the common questions which are anybody can answer, which are easy to answer. I mean behavioral questions. And later in this presentation, I will explain to you why behavioral questions are essential, are critical for picking you, or for you winning at an interview. So what are the types of interview questions that you would expect? Of course, there are the standard traditional ones, which target your education, work experience, career goals. These are easy questions, no big deal. Like, tell me about yourself, what's your greatest strengths and weakness? What did you like most about your last job, least? What are your short, long-term career goals? These are easy to prepare for, no big deal. So we'll go to the more challenging questions. Another type of questions, we call them the personal questions, which probe into your private life, personal background, about your ethnicity, religion, orientation, disabilities, marital status. Sample question, how old are you? Do you have children? Do you have a disability? What religion do you practice? For these, you have to keep your answers simple, short, but sufficient. Yani enough information is given to the recruiter. But these are not challenging. These are easy questions. So we will not dwell on them. What is really challenging, what really makes the difference for us recruiters is what we call the behavioral questions. These are the questions that focus on your actions and or behaviors in a previous setting. Why is this important for us? Because we believe that in order to expect how you will be doing in our company, in the job we are offering you, how you will perform depends on how you performed in the past. All recruiters have this in our mind. Future behavior is shown in past behavior or present behavior. This is why we put so much focus on the behavioral questions. And these are really the questions that differentiate people who are applying for the job. These are the ones. What type examples of these questions would be when the recruiter asks you to describe a time you had to make a difficult decision, for example, and what you did and how did you manage this? Or we will ask you to tell us about a time you worked under a deadline. How did you perform? How did you react to this deadline? We will ask you to tell us what do you do when a team member, let's say I'm recruiting the sales manager, for example, recruiting a sales manager, I would definitely ask him, what do you do when a team member is not giving his or her best, to see what behaviors he shows, what type of actions he takes, because this will show me what to expect from him in the future responsibilities I'm giving him. Think about the time you made a mistake. This could be a very good question. What did you learn from it? Now I'm trying to see, does he learn from his mistakes? And how does he react to his mistakes? Does he freeze? Does he stop thinking? Does he have paralysis? Or he knows how to get the right learnings and put them into action in order to get to a better outcome. These are the most important types of questions that you should prepare for. You should never go to an interview if you have not prepared these behavioral questions. No matter how brilliant you are, under the stress and the conditions you'll be while interviewing you will not be able to remember from your past behavior or events that has happened to show your best. No way, no matter how brilliant you are. So you need to remember you yourself before going to the interview. How did I show leadership? What happened with me in the past? How did I show organization? How did I show control? How did I show a growth mindset? What did I do in the past job or in the university or whatever in your life that shows that you are to show us that this is what we could expect from you because you've done it before, so you will do it again. This is extremely, extremely important. I cannot stress this more. So how do you answer the behavioral questions? Many people answer the behavioral questions randomly, yani without a system. And that's usually show us, if we are a professional recruiters, that the applicant is not organized. And when I say organized, I mean mentally organized. It's not about the organization of our day-to-day. No, that's the mental organization, the systemic, linear organization, how his train of thoughts work. This is extremely important that for anyone who wants to answer a behavioral question to follow this technique we call the STAR technique. What does STAR technique stand for? It stands for S, situation, T, target, A, action, R, result. By S, so I ask you a behavioral question. Now you want to answer me. So as you are answering me, you have to tell me what was the situation when you did what you did. What was the situation? We call this setting the scene. And you are setting the scene. And usually in this situation, there is always a problem, a challenge. So you have to start with the problem, with the challenge, with the situation, with the current situation at that time when you did it, when you did this thing, this behavior. Then you have to tell me what was your target. So this was the situation, and this is what we wanted to achieve. This was the target situation, or the outcome situation. So it's like you describing to me the purpose. Why are you doing this? Why are you taking the following actions? 3, you have to explain to me what you did. You have to tell me what actions you took to go from the situation to the target situation, from the current situation at that time to the target situation. What were the actions? Many applicants stop at A. So he tells me about the situation, what was the problem. It tells me about what he wanted to achieve, what he expected it should end up, how it should change, to where. And then he tells me what he did, but they fail to tell us about the results. But okay, so you took actions. But how do you know your actions worked? How do you know you are successful in your actions? So you need to tell me what were the results. So after taking these actions, this is what happened. You are sharing the outcome. Now the picture is clear for me as a recruiter. I can see your behavior on a star, yani, from the beginning situation to the current situation, the actions you took and the results you made. Now I can form a very good opinion about your capabilities, about your competencies, about your behaviors. طيب, how do we do this? يعني, in the face-to-face, how do I share all of this? What are some tips that I should respect in order to leave an impression on the recruiter? First, you have to smile and you have to make eye contact. I know that people are under pressure, they are stressed, so putting a smile is challenging, but you have to somehow practice it. Why? A smile is a good ambassador. It shows that you're relaxed, and this makes me as a recruiter, me myself, relaxed. And you can take stress, you can take pressure. If you stay the whole discussion with me, the whole interview, frowning or not smiling at all because you are paralyzed, you are not able to smile because of the stress, this tells me that in the future, when you will get the stress and the pressure of the job, which I'm recruiting you to, you will not take it with a smile. Probably you will stress about it. Probably you will show negativity towards it, and this is not what I want. And this is something you should put in mind. Why eye contact is important? Because if you avoid eye contact with the interviewer, you will come across to the interviewer as someone who is not sincere. Because we all know that the eyes, as the Indians say, they are the windows to the soul. So if you keep avoiding eye contact, subconsciously, I will be in a state where I feel that you are not being sincere with me. You are trying to hide things from me. And this will make me uncomfortable as a recruiter. But when I say eye contact, I don't mean staring. And it's not like you keep looking at the recruiter all the time. Then this would be taken as aggressive. No, it's a balance where you have eye contact, then you dissociate, you detach for fractions of seconds, then you come back. Fractions of seconds, then you come back. Half a second, then you come back. This is how it should work. So I know you are looking into me in the eyes, but you're not staring at me. 2, the second advice is to have an open body language. Yani, do not sit in front of the interviewer with your arms crossed, with your legs crossed, leaning backwards like you don't care, nor leaning forward like coming across as aggressive. Have an open body language, relaxed language, body language, like I have nothing to hide. I am welcoming to everyone. I am willing to hug. This mindset should be in the interview. An open body language. This speaks a lot about you. This speaks that you are someone who is cooperative, collaborative. And this is something we care about in the recruitment. The third advice is to practice active listening. And active listening is probably the most misunderstood concept, probably in training. Nobody really understands what's active listening. Let me share with you what's active listening. Active listening, as per Stephen Covey, our guru that you see on the screen, is what people don't do. So what does he say? Stephen Covey he says, most people do not listen with the intent to understand, which is why you should listen in the first place. Yani, you should listen to understand. It's not you just listen for listening. They listen with the intent to reply. And that is the most obstacle to understanding among humans. Yani, people misunderstand each other because of this. طيب, what's the difference between hearing and listening? Hearing is when you hear the words, the phrases. Hearing comes from ear. Hear comes from ear. Very simple. If you omit the H, now you end up with ear. So we now know that hearing is about what happens at the level of the ear. These are the vibrations. These are the words. Okay, but listening is not only about the words. Listening is what happens inside the mind. It's about the analysis that takes place. It's about the synthesis that takes place. When I say listen actively, it's not only about the words. It is when you appreciate or when you evaluate what those words bear in terms of emotions. When you are listening to someone, you are not listening only to the words, you are listening to the context of the words. How these words come in, within which context. Not only the context, you are also listening to the intentions of the person speaking. What are the intentions of the person speaking? And you can only listen actively if you follow through what you are listening. Yani you cannot interrupt listening. You can interrupt hearing. But once you interrupt listening, and this happens when you speak as a recipient of the words, or when your mind stops being calm. So you start thinking about other things. That's where interruptions happen. If interruptions happen, you lose the context. If you lose the context, you are not listening actively. You lose the intention because it's about the sequence. It's about the flow. It's about the train of thoughts. That's how you really assign meaning to words. It's within that context, not the word itself. The word itself has no meaning. It's about the emotion attached to the word. It's about the word within the context. It's about the word within the flow. That's what really gives a meaning to the words. And listening actively is about this side, listening with your mind, not with your ears. The fourth advice is to pay attention to how they're saying it, yani how the recruiters are saying it, how they are asking you the questions, what comments are they commenting, what remarks are they giving you during the interview. So what attention to pay to? You as an interviewee, you should be like a mirror to the interviewer. Yani you should mirror his flow as he's speaking, the loudness. You should mirror the pitch. You should mirror the speed. Yani if he's speaking slowly, you should not speak fast, because then you will lose this mirroring. Once you lose this mirroring, you lose something very important, which is the connection with the interviewer. And it's at the end of the day, it's the connection that will differentiate you. You have to mirror the tone, and you have to mirror the style. And by style, we mean the VAC style. What does VAC stand for? This is extremely important, the VAC style. It's the most important thing among these. It's the visual, auditory, kinesthetic. What do we mean visual, auditory, kinesthetic? It means the following. People communicate according to a specific style. We have dominant styles. So some people are visual. They are dominantly visual. Some people are auditory. They are dominantly auditory. Some people are kinesthetic. They are dominantly kinesthetic. Their style is like this. Some people are a mix. So they are visual and auditory, or visual kinesthetic, or visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. But there's always a dominant side, which you as an interviewee should, as the interviewer is talking to you, you should assign in your mind what this interviewer, to which category he falls. Is he visual? Is he auditory? Is he kinesthetic? Why is this important? Because you want to mirror him. You want to mirror him. You want to mirror his style, because this is the best way to influence him and to leave an impact on him, and to see how different you are, how superior you are with respect to the other applicants. So what is this visual, auditory, kinesthetic styles of communication? The visual are people who believe that a picture is worth 1,000 words. They see the world in images, okay, as a movie, as a clip. And usually the words they use in the interview, which you should pick in order for you to know exactly, evaluate. this interviewer is which type, is like see, look, view, focus, appear. If you see the interviewer using many of these words, so what's your view on this? Where do you focus where do you majorly focus your efforts? How does this appear to you? You should know that you are dealing with a visual interviewer. In your response, and when you are answering his questions, you should use the same words, the visual words. So you have to tell him, I view things this way. I focus much on this. It appears to me that, beyond a shadow of a doubt, I take a helicopter view of the situation. As you are speaking to him using his own style, you leave a huge impact, a huge influence on him, that he feels like he's talking to himself. And this will definitely raise his appreciation of you. But what about those who focus so much on what they hear? Those people who like to speak on the phone, spend 2 hours on the phone, everything on the phone. These are, we call the auditory communicators. You can know he is auditory when you hear the interviewer saying words like, here, listen, it sounds to me. Is this resonating with you? Does this ring a bell? If you see him using these words, you have to put him within the A category, and he's an auditory. What do you do as an interviewee? You use the same words to leave a huge impact on him. So you mirror his style. What about kinesthetic? When we say kinesthetic, it's about touching, and it's about feeling. It's not hearing, it's not visual, it's touching. Okay, what are some of these words he used, the interviewer? How does this feel to you? Are you in touch with this? Did you grasp what I said? This is concrete evidence. You will hear him saying the words. Our hand in hand. Did you tap into this? Are we catching on? You know now he's kinesthetic. What do you do as an interviewee? You use the same words to leave an impact on him. So you have to answer him using these words. Okay? Hala. How do you know a kinesthetic guy or a kinesthetic buyer without opening his mind? So let's say you are in a car dealership and someone is coming in to see the car, to look at the cars. So if he opens the car and he put his hand on the leather, so he's like touching the leather, or the seats of the car, or he's touching the dashboard, he's taking a grip of the wheel, then you know he's kinesthetic, even if he doesn't open his mouth, because that's how he sees the world. That's how he interacts with the world. So a good salesman in a car dealership would spot this behavior and start talking to this potential buyer by using words like feel, touch, concrete, grasp, catch on, tap into, in order to leave an impact on this buyer. The fifth advice is to show up with enthusiasm, with optimism, with positivity. Even if you've been in the worst traffic coming to the interview, do not share the disappointment. Do not share how you're feeling, the pessimistic view. It will create a whole pessimistic, unenthusiastic, negative atmosphere for the whole interview. Focus on what happened well. Focus on what happened on the positive sides of your journey. Tell him, wallah, I had the perfect parking spot. Thank you for your direction. When we were talking on the phone, you told me to park the car in this parking, and it was amazing. Start with this positivity. It gives a whole positive, optimistic, enthusiastic feeling or sense to the meeting. And this is what you want as someone who is going into an interview. The fifth advice is to ask questions. And many people who goes to do interview, in fact, 98% of people who go for an interview and who are asked by the interviewer, do you have questions at the end of the interview? Usually the interviewer would ask him, if he is a professional interviewer, by the way, he would ask him, do you have any questions that you want to ask me? 98% say no, thank you. They think that this is out of place question. They don't even understand why he is asking us if we have a question. When in fact, this is a very important part of an interview. And it shows the interviewee that the interviewer is a highly professional individual. Why do we ask this question at the end of the interview? Because we want you to join us when you believe that we are the best place for you. We know that as you are doing the research about our company, you will go to the publication, you will go to the web page, you will ask questions about us, but you won't have a clear picture of how the culture is, how the overall sense of the environment within the company is. We know that you don't find these answers in the publication on the website or with people. So we give you this opportunity for you to ask us about these things, because we believe, it's not like you want to join at any cost. No, you want to join the right company. You want to join the right people. You want to join the right job. So we expect from you to ask us about things that you will make a difference in this final decision as to join us or not. This is what we expect from when we ask you these questions. And by the way, probably I've interviewed thousands over 25 years, probably more than 2,000, 3,000 people. And most of them tell me, no, thank you. But the very few who ask me a question, I immediately regard them as professional. Deep down, they have been different. They have differentiated themselves. But of course, you have to ask a question that is meaningful. I know some of them ask me questions that it would have been better not asking me, because these questions made me put a question mark. What type of questions which you could ask? You could ask questions to determine if you are an appropriate fit for the company and position. To prepare a list of questions, like, what type of assignments can I expect within the first year? By the way, these are the questions you, the interviewee, is asking me, the recruiter. So you are asking me, what type of assignments can I expect within the first year? Or what do you like most about this company? So I will talk now about the atmosphere, the positive, the beautiful culture, the family feeling, stuff like this, which you might appreciate on your own, or these probably would be your own values. What's the biggest challenge facing this department right now? So as if you are already ready to start working on these challenges. You want to join in order to help us with these challenges. This question definitely leaves an impact on me as a recruiter. I can see someone who is a doer, someone who is an active, proactive guy. It talks to me a lot about you. What is the next course of action? Some people ask this question. Why is this important? Because you have to remember that interviewing is not unilateral. It's bilateral. I am looking at you, I am observing you, I am asking you, I am evaluating you, I am valuing you, and you should be doing the same. You should be observing me, trying to evaluate me, trying to evaluate the whole culture. How are the people you are going to work with look like? Are they toxic? Are they judgmental? Are they really professional? This is what you should be doing also in the interview. Observing me, the recruiter, then deciding, are my values aligned with the values of this company? Yes? Okay, I'll join. No, I might not join. I have other options. 2, is the atmosphere, is the culture overall positive, or is it toxic? If it's toxic, why would you join them? Why would you want to be part of them? If they have a demoralizing culture, if the recruiting manager is is not what you dream of working with, a person you don't even like, why would you want to join this job? Or why would you like to join this company? Remember, interviewing, the word itself means bilateral. It comes from inter and viewing. Inter means between, viewing from both sides. The recruiter is viewing you, you should be viewing the recruiter. Otherwise, you would make a mistake that you're going to pay for years to come, which is not worth it. Coming from someone with 27, 28 years of experience, I am telling you, it's not worth it. Thank you very much. This brings us to the end of our training session. I hope you found it beneficial. Sorry, I took more time, but I needed to share with you everything. I wanted this session to be really beneficial to you, to play a major role in your future success. If there are questions, you can ask me the questions, and I'm happy to answer. And if it's okay, then we can call it a day.
Extremely. First comment, I've just read it. Highly appreciated. Extremely beneficial, sir. Thanks a lot. People really are enjoying your session. We know it was for 30 minutes, but to be honest, 1 hour, 2 hours are literally quite a little with you, Prof. Thank you so much for this eye-opening session. We really gained more than we can ever imagine. Thank you so much. I'm opening the floor for some questions. If you would like to ask, yes, we can share the recorded video. We have a question from anonymous attendee. Is it okay to negotiate regarding the salary?
Of course, not during the first, second, third wave of interviewing. Don't do this. If you are picked and the final decision is made, and now you are talking with the GM or the HR, yes, it's okay. It's acceptable.
That's perfect.
But not in the beginning, and not in the first wave of interviews.
Yeah, definitely not the first round. Another question: how do you know, like deep down, if it was a good interview or a bad interview? Like, can you feel it?
Very good question. Unfortunately, no. Why you cannot know? Because many recruiters are professional. They are very professional individuals. Probably they are regional managers or GMs or business unit managers with years of experience. So we know how to bear what we call a poker face, where you cannot know if you're doing well or not. But there is an indicator. If you spend like 45 minutes in the interview, more than 30 minutes in the interview, it's a good sign. If the interview is very short, yani when I say short, it's like 7 minutes, 10 minutes, it's not a good sign. That's the only indicator. But still, this indicator could not be true. Then you never know if something happened. The recruiter got a call from his manager telling him, "I want you now immediately." So you cannot know. So he will have to cut it short. But still, you would make it because he has already made a good idea about you. Actually, this is a rough indicator, which is the duration of the interview.
Okay, we have many questions now. People started asking. First question, out of 10, I guess. How many pages my CV should be? Should we include a photo in the CV?
If some people ask for a photo to be shared, for this, of course, you have to. But if they don't specify that they need a photo, you don't have to put a photo. It's not mandatory. Usually, it is a 2-page CV, not more. Don't make it more. You have to remember, he will only scan your CV for 7 seconds. You don't want to spread those 7 seconds over 4 pages. Then you will get 2 seconds per page. You don't want this. My advice, if it can be 1 page, do it 1 page. If it cannot be 1 page, maximum 2 page, but not more. Unless you are a senior consultant with 28 years of experience who is applying for a very high senior position. Yes, of course. My CV is 28 pages. It has to be
Wow.
28 pages, 28 years. But
Exactly.
if you are applying for a new job or you've been in the market for 1 or 2 years, please make it
Yeah.
1 page or maximum 2 pages.
Okay, so thank you. For the second question, how to deal with a rude HR? The person really needs the job.
Sorry, Ahmed, can you repeat?
Yeah, how to deal with a rude HR if the person really needs the job.
That's a different scope. Okay,
Yeah.
that has to go for another training about conflict resolution. It's not about the interviewing. It's out of this discussion, and it's a very long one. It will need a training on it, to be honest.
Okay, so we'll move to the second one. In the interview, when we are asked about our weaknesses, should we mention them all as they are, or we
So
shall say perfectionist and time management, etc. The question I
uh,
will repeat it. In the interview, when we ask about our weaknesses, okay,
yes,
should we mention them as we are, or like we negotiate, we like shadow them?
this is a very very difficult question, to be honest. Definitely, I would say be truthful, be sincere, because if you join in based on deception, time will show. You won't be happy. You will always feel threatened, and I don't think this is a good way to start your career.
Mm.
Be truthful, but you don't have to be ubiquitous, share everything. Yes, I still remember there's also one weakness. Sorry, I did not mention. No, tell us, say one weakness which is workable. You can work on it. It's not like it's unchangeable, and it's fine. But be sincere. This is what I would advice. And instead of hiding them, work on them, develop them, so they stop being weaknesses.
Oh, perfect. Um, I have another question. Is all this information for ideal situation? Because I'm in a low income country, they do not do all of this, and I think this happen in developed countries.
Uh, uh, um, okay, yes, there are my advice to you would be the thing. Wherever you are, surrounded by whoever they are, the right thing to do always is to do the right thing. If this is idealistic, if this is the best thing you could do, why not do it? Why not do it? At least
Oh,
differentiate yourself from the others.
perfect. I have a question also from Kashaf Sheikh. How tackle a question when which answer I don't know on the spot? How tackle a question which I don't know the answer on the spot?
Very good question. Uh, uh, don't be worried. Professional recruiters know that you don't know everything. Why? We know this because we don't know everything. So if someone poses a question to you which you don't know the answer, politely tell him that you don't really know the answer to this question. This you will come across to me as someone who is sincere, who is confident, who is accepting his limitations,
Mhm.
and not someone who is trying to hide his weaknesses. I would definitely respect your answer. So tell me respectfully that you don't know how to answer this question.
Perfect.
But you can promise me as a recruiter that when you go home after the interview, you are going to dig this up in order for you to learn it. Because for you, this is an opportunity that I have given you for you to know what you still miss. This would definitely impact me and how I am thinking about you.
Okay, so we have another question from Tahani. The question here goes as follows. Can I use ChatGPT to write a CV, or it's better to use Europass?
Uh, Both are okay.
So we can. Perfect.
Yes,
Um, okay. Okay. Wow. We have a very nice question. What about psychological questions like who do you like or plan for marriage and when?
Okay, these questions usually like professional individuals, يعني professionals don't ask such questions
Yeah,
because these questions are very subjective. It's like me looking for someone who is like me. This is not very يعني how does it show the recruiter about you يعني if you tell me if you answer this question what would be my evaluation of your answer? It would be the following only. He is like me. If he's like me, I'll give him extra credit. If he's not like me, I will not give him extra credit. This is very subjective. Why would someone ask such a question? It's an unfair question. So
exactly.
professionals don't ask such question. If you have such a question, you have a 50% chance of answering right as per the preference of the interviewer. That's the only chance you have. Take it. It's a 50% chance, which is a good chance. So he'll either like you or he will not like you. Who cares?
Okay, perfect. We have another question from anonymous attendee. Is the same goes for the interview for higher studies abroad or for scholarships?
What I shared today is universal across industries and even across functions. So you can still apply the same things you have seen, the same tips, the same advice to these types of interviews.
Perfect. Another question from Asma. How to deal with questions about beliefs? Sorry. Let me go in. How to deal with questions about religions and beliefs?
Um, these are also very tricky questions. There is no real way. Be honest, be sincere, be proud, and answer them as they come. You don't have to circumvent and do. You don't want to join someone who will.
Yeah,
You don't want to join an organization. You don't want to join a company. You don't want to join a manager who will evaluate you as per these personal things. Trust me, it's not worth it because you might do well with him if you are like him, but when you go to another organization, another recruiting manager, what would you do if it's different? Nothing, and you haven't gained any valuable skills, strengths to use across. If if he only hire you if you are a certain way, that's
so that's
stupid.
exactly. We have Badr Masri. Religious questions are unprofessional anyways. That's right. I'm guessing I know better. We have a question from
By the way,
yeah,
uh, like I told you, that interviewing is bilateral. So you are viewing him as much as he's viewing you, and this is what you should do, Aslan. Uh, if
yeah,
if you see someone making all these mistakes, asking all these strange questions, you should draw a big question mark, as if you want to continue even the interview, as if you want to join this company. Anyway, because if this is the type of people working for this organization, I don't think it's a very good organization, to be honest. I know
yeah.
I'm being harsh, I'm being real.
We appreciate that. Okay, so guys, I'm opening from the floor for three more questions. So don't take much time from Prof. Mahmoud. We have a question from Mawada Ammar. If there are any preferred template for writing a CV?
Well, there are so many templates, but my advice, use a template that takes into consideration the golden triangle and the F pattern, because some templates don't. They have no. Some templates don't have an idea about this golden triangle and the F and they put the important information, which we've seen from the presentation are related to experience and competencies in the triangle that is not golden at all in the other triangle. So don't use these templates. Use templates that respect the triangle and the F pattern.
Okay, nice. We have another question from Ahmad Abed. How do you handle constructive criticism?
Constructive
Criticism.
criticism.
Yeah.
Constructive criticism is not part of an interview. Yani, I don't see where the interviewer will give you constructive criticism. It's not within the scope of an interview. He is not supposed even to give you any indication as to how you did. He should keep a poker face and he should keep a closed mouth, to be honest. He has no right to criticize you, la destructively, wala constructively. So if within an interview he does this, this shows lack of professionalism from this person.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. No, this one. I'm gonna ask a question. I don't know how it goes, but what's the best answer? Like in this country, some HR go with the cliche question like "Sell me this pen." So what's the perfect answer for "Sell me this pen"?
Oh, this will need another 15 minutes to tell you how to sell a pen. That's a selling presentation, maybe in the future. But يعني few advice. What are we looking for when we ask such a question? We are looking for an important thing, which is, do you ask questions? Yani, you being the seller of this pen, are you going to ask me, the recruiter who is supposed to hire, questions, or are you going to jump directly into selling me the features and benefits of the pen? So we look at you asking us questions. If you ask questions, specifically questions that are insightful to you in order to understand how do we decide on buying things, this will definitely increase your how we value you. This is very important. Two, it's about how confident you are, how unstressed you are. We look at these things. We don't. It's not like we are expecting you to be the greatest pen seller in the world. We don't care. You have to remember that recruiters recruit character. We don't care much about those day-to-day skills, because we can train you on them. No big deal for us. But we care about your character. So have a positive character as you're selling us the pen, and you're in, even if you didn't convince us.
Perfect. I once had a training, guys, with Prof. Mahmoud, that he gave us a case on selling a freezer in the Eskimo, remember? Which is one of the toughest also. Okay, so I guess we don't have any more questions. By the way, if you knew the answer for how to sell a freezer in the Eskimo, please feel free to share it on the list there to know if someone can catch it. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. We hope you found the session on the art of winning at interviews insightful and packed with actionable tips. A huge and big thank you for our master here, Master Trainer Mahmoud Ayoub, for sharing his expertise and providing such valuable guidance. Remember that the key to interview success is preparation, confidence, and knowing how to present yourself best. We're confident and more than confident that with the strategies that you've learned today, you'll be on the way to acing your next interview. If you have any further questions or additional resources, or you need something, feel free to reach out to us on the IVPN listserv. And if you have any question for the prof, you have his name, Mahmoud Ayoub, on LinkedIn. So thank you so much, Prof, for being with us today. Thank you so much, everyone, again, for attending. And we wish you all the best of luck in your future interviews.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I wish you a nice evening. Enjoy. Thank you, Ahmed. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.